So this title of the video is called the Jack the Ripper Click, um, and the clue's in the name. So obviously, I'm a northerner, fat northerner from up north, and I'm known for many books, true crime, football, comedy, boxing. Um, but one of my probably the most passion that I like to watch or kind of study, if you like. And I did this book. There's something about Whitechapel. But I started this book with what I'm just about to say now. I am by no means an expert. Um, all my knowledge, if you like, is from uh, what was it, 80 documentaries, 200 over 200 books on the Ultimate Terror, and the real heroes, if you like, or the real heavyweights, elite historians or ripperologists, clues in the name, is the venerable Richard Jones, who I like a great deal. Met him a couple of years back, and I've watched all his stuff, still do. Ed Stow or Ed Stowe, lovely, lovely man. Spent a bit of time with him last year, and then of course you've got the other usual names: Lindsay Civiters, your Donald Rumbelows, your Martin Fidos, God rest him, Ricky Cobbs, Mick Priestley's, oh, Stuart Evans, your Philip Hutchinsons, Patricia Cornwell's. If I sat down and thought about it, Adam Wood. Um, yeah, sorry if I've missed anyone out there, but you all bring me so much entertainment, so much content that I don't think there's anything on YouTube I haven't watched regarding the Whitechapel Killers. But obviously, because I'm not in that. How can I put it? Expertise level. Where people are making a living off it. People are doing tours. People are writing books, making documentaries, films. Um, Paul Begg was another one. For a time, you couldn't watch a documentary on Jack the Ripper without him popping up on it somewhere. And those are the real experts. Those are the kind like um, Donald Rumbelows, Lindsay Civiters, who I think she worked actually in a museum. Martin Fido, they've actually studied like um, items from back in 1808, 137 years this year. So those, I mean, you couldn't hold a torch to them. It'd probably take someone 30 years of research to even be on their level. But what I have noticed, and this is just an observation, my opinion, is it's a really clicky environment. Now, I think there's a lot of jealousy and envy. Certain people have their own suspects. That oh, it was Dr. Tumblety. In actual fact, the descriptions of the, the 11 descriptions, I think, in total of the people who did see Jack the Ripper, uh, Dr. Tumblety was a lot older than the suspect and a lot taller as well. And then you've got people on the internet um, saying they've got this Shaw and it's been proved farcical, really. But I think with a lot of it, everyone's died, everyone's grandkids, everyone's great grand. It's 137 years ago, so no one can go. Well, hang on a minute, my granddad was there, and do you know what I mean? So people can kind of, unless you really know the story. But there's a lot of Ripper social media pages, and as I said, I'm not. I mean, any of them people who I've mentioned, my passion. my level of obsession is maybe even more than them. But I don't know what they know. I haven't studied it. Um, a lot of those people are actually in London. And it's on the doorstep. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of when I interview someone, um, and I'll share it on various Jack the Ripper pages on Facebook, or I'll comment on Twitter, or even Instagram, certainly YouTube. Then people will be like, "Oh, well, we don't have him on this channel. Can you not share his on?" And and that's kind of I can see I've come to this conclusion. Obviously, I'm on the outside looking in, and there's a lot of backstabbing. There's a lot of bitchiness, and not for anyone, not any of the names I've mentioned, because you like your Ed Stowe, Richard Jones, Lindsay Sibbett, Mick Priestley. There might be a few more. I interviewed Paul Beck, so them. But there's kind of people behind the scenes. Um, there's no greater wrath than annoying someone who's an admin on a page, who's got this big responsibility of it's my page, it's my admin, and you can't share this on that. And yeah, but it is, as I said, I was in London 6 times last year. Or 6 times in 12 months, October to the October. And so I'm there quite a lot, and I'll hover around, and years ago I would just literally go down and I'd spend 5 days hanging around Whitechapel. And I probably must have looked like something Oscar Wilde would have picked up. And there as well. Although that's not Oscar Wilde, but yeah, yeah. Well, now I tend to do a day in the north, day in the west, because I'm interested in history as a whole. But there's so I'll kind of interview people and I'll sniff around, and I watch Richard Jones's videos, and I watch Ed Stowes or Stowe. Sorry, Ed, if you're watching. And I'll go to these places, and it's just total. How can I put? I'm in awe. I really am at these places. When you're like out in the back of the London Hospital. Is it class of Stepney? As I think it's Tower Bridge now. But when you're outside the pub, which was the Bricklayers Arms, and you're looking in the doorway and you think, "Wow, Liz Stride was there," and probably 20 minutes before she. That's really surreal to me. Um, that's actually like soft porn. It's just like wow. Totally. That. As I said, I got interested in Jack the Ripper when I was 11. Um, yeah, first year primary school, I watched the Michael Caine film. Um, Interviewed Gary Shaw a year or so back. It's on his channel. The interview. He played the pimp in the film. But I've always had a deep fascination, and but the last 5 years, it's gone beyond that to the point where it's literally every day I'm watching something, and the wife's like, "Ah, again, you've got this on again." Don't you get sick of it? It's the same story over again. But it's not really, because it's like a story, but the last chapter's ripped out. So it can be anyone. I mean, I discovered for that book that there was officially on Scotland Yard's files 167 suspects. A lot of them are total tall stories. People bang on about the royal theory. He actually wasn't even in the country for 4 of the 5 murders, but it makes great viewing for books and films and documentaries, and but it's not really anyone who's kind of, in my opinion, um, I think I think there's a dozen serious elite level names that you could put in front of someone like your Kosminskis, like your Lech Mears, of course. You can actually place him at the scene of the crime for one of the murders. Um, Abelard's favourite suspect was George Chapman. Um, maybe your Thomas Cutbushers, your Jacob Levy's. Um, I've even read stories where it was Jill the Ripper, or it was the Elephant Man. Who else? Yeah, there's some absolutely utterly ridiculous ones, but it's I suppose this is the mythical folklore, and it snowballs every year. And if it's the truth, it doesn't matter because you know it I mean, maybe if people, I think, if come along and said this was so and so, and I've got the proof, I don't think we would want to believe, because and that's why I think it will never, never ever be solved. But it's part of I mean, if a genie give me three wishes in life and said, look, you can have all this money and live happily ever after, one of my three wishes would be who's Jack the Ripper, and that's how much it captivates myself. But getting away from what I was talking about, there is a lot of jealousy, a lot of bitterness between parties and sides, and kind of certain people are friends with them certain people, and well, don't talk to him because he was this and he was that, and that's what I think. That's what I've observed. I'm my own man, so I've never really paid any attention to if anyone's ever said to me, "Oh, don't talk to him," and don't you know he was this and he was that. I'm like, we've all got bad pasts. We've all made mistakes in life. But to the real heroes like your Richard Jones, your Ed Stowes or Stows, um, as I said, your Lindsay Civiters, your Mick Priestley, he was he's on YouTube now, and I'm a big admirer of him, his passion. I've walked around the streets of London with him, and he's showed me places, and I must get down to see Richard Jones this year. Lovely, lovely man. Richard actually said to me a couple of years ago, there's two quotes I always remember. I think I used maybe one of them in that book. And he said, Jack the Ripper bought my house. That's the whole industry. I was there a couple of months back, and there's Jack the Clipper barbers, there's Jack the Chipper chip shops, there's Jack the Ripper baked potatoes on Brick Lane, there's there's museums, there's and I touched on in that book, there's punk bands in France called Jack the Ripper. Morrissey sang songs about Jack the Ripper. The White Stripes have, LL Cool J has. Lord, what was it called? Yeah, someone tell me in the comments. Lord Such, is it? He did a song. And it's all. I mean, I've personally spoke to Martin O'Neill. I interviewed a couple of years back for a book, and he is absolutely, totally. What's the word? Captivated. Totally, not obsessed, but he's totally into the story. And it's I totally get it. In fact, Martin went on one of Mick Priestley's tours. Has there been a couple of other names, celebrities. Your Simon Cowell's been on one, Russell Brand's, Kelly Osbourne's, uh, Victor Meldrew. Um, yeah, a few other names over the years. People have said, "Oh, I had such on a tour," and yeah, maybe one or two names I shouldn't mention. But yeah, I don't think it will ever diminish anytime soon. Certainly in our lifetime. 137 years on now. Um, another quote Richard Jones said, and London, most of it was blew away in the 40s, the Blitz. But he said, if you look hard enough at the old Jewish East End, then old London, Jack the Ripper's London's still there. Bricklayer's Arms on Brick Lane, you can still see. the Working Lads Institute on Whitechapel Road. On a book I'm just finished at the minute, Mickey Duff one. So there was 150 active synagogues, Jewish synagogues in the 40s. These days, 2014, when Mickey Duff died, there was four, and there was 200 Jewish people in the East End in 2014, and over 1,000 of them were over 70. So that's how much times have changed, and that old Cockney geezer rhyme and slang, it's all been replaced with "you get me, bruv," in it, wag one. It's all that kind of street cred, and the experts say in 30 years' time, the real Cockney accent will be gone, and it's very much a far cry from if you kind of close your eyes and you're watching EastEnders nearly 40 years ago now, and the actress who played Angie Watts, forgot her name off the top of my head. She's married to one of the guys from Queen, and she's from Stepney. I've totally forgot her name. She's actually in this book. Yeah, the old Cockneys, your Mike Reeds, your oh God, what the hell was her name? Your Charlie Magries, your John H. Stracey's. Do you know? It escapes me. I didn't put it in. Someone tell me a name because it's gonna bug me. But yeah, it's all a dying breed, the Cockneys, and I think you'd hear more East End accents out towards Southend, which is a shame. Um, it is a shame, but times change, and that's what happens. Change. When I grew up, I knew uh, everyone in the street, and the streets and streets and streets. So where I live now, I don't know everyone. I don't know. In fact, I don't know anyone. And then that's life. It's changing, and life, that's what it's about, isn't it? It revolves and it's change. But it's still sad. It does really, really sadden me. But yeah, this is just my opinion. As I said, I've observed. If the wife dyed her hair pink tomorrow, I wouldn't even notice. But if I'm in London or somewhere, and I do pick up if I'm interested. For instance, the wife painted the bathroom last year, and she said, "Have you noticed anything?" And I was like, "No." If she never told me, I wouldn't have even known to this day. But if I'm interested in things like the East End, the history, I notice, I observe. My job, I meet a lot of people, and as soon as I hear an accent, I can tell what's East End. I could tell what's like Surrey. Do you know what I mean? And as the amount of times with my job, because I meet a lot of the public, and I go, "You're from the East End, you are?" And they go, "Yeah, I'm from Stepney," and we talk. But yeah, there is quite a lot of I think, like anything, isn't it? Human nature. Jealousy is a powerful emotion, or envy, and if someone has got this tour out or that tour out or got this book out, and he's all over the TV because he's got this show, and even if it's quite, I'm gonna put it up being disrespectful. Even if it's not quite right, listen, it's telling a story and he's putting his hard work into it, and for the work people do, and it's to be commended. Haley Rubinold has did a book, the Five, and I haven't read it all, but her Amazon reviews, I've never seen anything like it. If you can, a book, so if you can get if you can get 100 Amazon reviews in a year, that's good going. One of my books, I think it's got about nearly 900, and that's been out about 6 years. But Haley Rubinall's like 5,000 plus, and it is literally staggering. But yeah, to all of those who I've mentioned in this video, I take my hat off to you. And it's the weekend. I'm off tonight, and I will be watching Jack the Ripper as some sort. In fact, I'm going to watch Ed Stow or Stows. You'll have to tell me that, Ed, how to pronounce it. But I'm going to watch his new video tonight. But yeah, that's just my opinion. I think there's a lot of click in the whole industry, if you like, the whole environment, and yeah, I don't know. It can be a little bit, but as I said, maybe I've done books on. I did a footballer's book a couple of years back, and I interviewed various people from Sky Sports and all this, and uh, yeah, give us a shout when it's out, and we'll help you promote it, and we'll do a video and all this. And when it come out, none of them. In fact, Alan Shearer shared it on his Instagram story, and it got about 30,000 views. But all this footballers, best teammates, if you like, or because they had their own books going out and their own pundit jobs and all, they just sat back and I said, and I predicted that to him. I said, look, mate, when this comes out, don't think that people will help you. And yeah, it's quite sad, but I think it's human nature. Pablo Escobar. I know I'm going off topic here, but he was quite possibly one of the richest men in the world at the time, and he never once had a picture holding money. So you can Google all the pictures of him, Colombian drug lord, all the money in the world, and you'll never see a picture of him holding any money. So as evil and bad as he was, he did actually have good morals, which is, and it was another quote as well. He said, which is something like, "Jealousy, envy will always kill more men than cancer," and that's very true. And it's quite sad to see sometimes. But yeah, I think it is human nature. But that's my opinion on someone very northern. We don't have pies of jelly deals up here and that disgusting green sauce, and we don't eat them jelly deals, which is just probably looks like snot. In fact, I did taste them a couple of years, and I did see a picture of Richard Cobb the other week, and I said, "Do you actually like them?" And he said, "Yeah." And Richard's not actually. I know he's got a lot of businesses in London, but he's Irish, and I think he lives in Yorkshire. But up north, we have gravy on pies, where that stuff, which is I want to say mint sauce, but it's not. It's oh God, I forgot. It's in that book. I took a lot of blows to the head when I was young. But yeah, I just observe and I watch and as I said, watch most things, but I can see from an outside looking in, and it is quite a bit of a dog eat dog world. But anyway, big love. I'm gonna go buy myself some chocolate, and I've got a couple of book proofreading projects. That's a good thing. Sorry, it's a downside to writing as many books as I do. You go and you interview people, and it's really fascinating. Some of the characters I get to be across meet, and then there's the tedious, monotonous side where you're proofreading a book 4 times, and when you proofread it the fourth time, you can still find mistakes. But yeah, it's very boring. But yeah, Jack the Ripper. I don't think there'll ever be a time. I'm 44 now. I know I don't look it, and I've been totally taken away with the story since I was 11. Um, and yeah, it's not getting boring for me. I think if I'm 70, I think if I'm 80, I'll still be watching all you. I'll still be watching you, Richard Jones. So you still better be about. But yeah, big love to everyone, and I will try and get a few more videos on this channel over the weekend. God bless and have a wonderful weekend.